Is the gaming industry doomed? Hey guys, what's going on? Hermdo back with you. Let's get into it. Was scrolling up through the internet today and I happened upon this. It's a screen cap from the Steam community on 4chan, um, posted on 4chan, but it says, racist bigotry won again. Are you happy? Are you satisfied? Does your day feel that little bit better knowing a great developer comprised of hardworking folks is going to likely be shut down over this, all because you can't whack off to ugly characters and cry about woke games all the time? Get the memo. This game wasn't for you in the first place. Now, apparently the game they're talking about is Avowed, and it comes from Obsidian Games, or Obsidian Entertainment, rather. The studio known for The Outer Worlds, Fallout New Vegas, and Grounded. And there was some controversy about this game, apparently. It took 6 years and 2 reboots. I guess it started as a Skyrim multiplayer mod and just kind of evolved from there. But I haven't really been following this too much. One of my buddies was bringing this up to me. He was like talking about like all these games are woke now. Then he brought this game up, and I'm just like, okay, let's look into this a little bit. But Claylex says, I'm a little bit worried for Obsidian regarding Microsoft letting go of several studios this week. This is from 10 months ago. I just hope possibly that Obsidian gets good sales for Avowed. Microsoft won't think about doing it. Again, these are huge maybes, possibilities. Who knows? Microsoft just let go of those specific studios and Obsidian will be perfectly fine. But yeah, I'll still buy Avowed, just not on Game Pass. And Dopey Band-Aid says, Tango really shocked me. They can drop Hi-Fi Rush and be on Xbox's first foot in Japan, something they've been desperately trying to do for years, and still get closed. Anyone is fair game. Oh, excuse me. I think some game studios will have more chances than others based on IP alone. 343, Playground, The Coalition, Bethesda, id Software. Everyone else, though, after 1 or 2 duds, could quickly find themselves closed, turned into a Call of Duty factory. Now, there's been some other controversy surrounding this game, and I kind of looked into like the gaming industry as a whole, and I didn't realize how many of these game studios had been closing. I'm not quite the gamer I used to be, but this is from, what is this? Smash JT. Avowed director confirms game is a completely janky mess right now. So, Avowed director warns of launch riddle with bugs, and the game comes out next week. In a recent interview with MinMax on their YouTube channel, Avowed director and senior narrative designer Carrie Patel made a pretty wild statement that sparked or reinforced, depending on where you stand in this game, concern among gamers everywhere. Patel went on to openly acknowledge that Avowed, a once highly anticipated RPG coming from Obsidian Entertainment, is going to be launching with some degree of jank, the kind of unexpected glitches that can and do seriously interfere with the overall gameplay experience. While I appreciate the honesty, if you want to call it that, minor technical issues are often forgiven. In sprawling RPGs, her comments sound far more concerning. The casual way Patel framed this, all as almost inevitable, has set off alarm bells, not just with myself, but the entire gaming community. Pairs with the multiple insiders have been communicating to me over the past few months who are directly affiliated in some way with Obsidian Entertainment. There are fairly low expectations for the game is going to be received overall by the gaming industry at large. Well, this is from last week. I guess the game launched on the 18th, which is 4 days ago, but there's been some more stuff. This is from back in January. Avowed mysteriously disappears from Steam player libraries. Avowed has mysteriously disappeared from the libraries of several players who own the game on Steam, and fans are worried this may indicate a possible delay. Another ominous development, Avowed Steam Community Hub has also gone dark. Avowed is one of 2025's most anticipated titles and is prepped to be the year's first major releases. Game was earlier penciled in for a fall 2024 release, but was delayed to February 2025 after developers stated they wanted more time to polish Avowed and balance the number of releases on Xbox Game Pass. However, fans are growing concerned about another possible delay on the horizon. I guess it didn't get delayed. I guess it's supposed to... It released when it's supposed to be released, though. But there have been some concerns over it, some stuff going on about it. But it says, on a post on Reddit, user GazVD shared that the game is no longer visible on their Steam library, and several other users have corroborated the issue despite missing from their library's Avowed Steam store page shows that they are indeed own the game. So far, the issue only appears to affect Steam users, as players who purchased it on Xbox are still able to see Avowed in their collection. Just a few days ago before Avowed's release, fans are understandably getting paranoid of a delay. Now, this is the Avowed review section. I don't think I could play this on my computer. It's a little too advanced. But anyways, this guy said not recommended. But I think overall, like 78% or 80 something percent of people like this game. Let me see if it's mostly positive. 78% of 4,400 users. Some people liked it, some people didn't like it, but for the most part, it's getting pretty positive reviews for a $70 game. I want my my Steam rating to be like maybe 95%, but what are people saying? I played 20 hours of this game. In my opinion, it's extremely low mid. 5 out of 10 safe dialogue, actions, and people. The story is boring. The characters cringe, except for one guy at a bar in the second town. A very short quest, but a cool dude. I can't stand the companions. The only thing with giving points for the game is the combat. Thank you for reading the review. Maybe pick up the game with $5 or whatever. It's an MHE game. It's a Skyrim title. Skyrim Light World feels static and unlived in. I'd say wait till it's like 50% sales or more. I'm enjoying the game and will continue. Would recommend it if it on sale. I don't think it's worth $70. It's lacking the depth you would expect for that price tag. I think the systems kind of suck because it doesn't feel like you grow in power substantially from getting a new piece of gear or talent. The good stuff, combat is fun. Some of the dialogue and characters questions interesting, blah, 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 blah. Here we go. How many hours does he have on record? 25 hours on record. Buy it on sale. The game's and play the Pillars of Eternity, but the $70 price point is rough. My main issue with the game's lack of class, ability, diversity. The writing in VA is great. The game suffers from way over dumbing down the character sheet. So it's getting mostly positive reviews, and there were a lot of worry about Obsidian Game Studio getting shut down over this. But let's found this article. It was just published today, a couple hours ago. Obsidian happy, they put happy in quotes, happy, with Avowed sales and could pursue expansions and sequels. Obsidian's pleased with Avowed sales. Avowed's director, Carrie Patel, wants to do more in the game's world. A new report has claimed Obsidian Entertainment is happy with Avowed sales, with confirmation the studio may consider expansion and sequels to the game. It wasn't clear whether Avowed's presence on Xbox Game Pass on day one would harm its sales, but that doesn't appear to be the case. Upon its recent release, Avowed's reviews were largely positive. The game's combat came in for high praise, although often the static world and some elements of the story left it feeling like a flawed experience for many. Avowed currently sits in mostly positive reviews on Steam, indicating that players are having a good time with it overall. Seems that even the flawed elements of the game haven't been enough to detract games from giving Avowed a try. So what do we got here? Oh, that's from Ubisoft. Didn't I have another? I guess I didn't. I don't know what the big deal was about this game. Was it something about the game was woke or something? Or this Carrie Patel lady, she looks like your pretty standard issue SJW. Look out, guys. But some of this stuff is so dumb. Okay, I found this video from Venom Snack. This is 2 months ago. This guy's talking about how woke and gay the game is, apparently. But let's get into this a little bit.
Being spewed from gamer-hating feminists. Obsidian have been terrible for years now, turning out shitty games like The Outer Worlds that really was just a dated, thinly veiled communist manifesto. I was able to stomach about 1 minute from the trailer for...
Gamergate is still going on. We still got Gamergate. 11 years of this. 11 years of angry gamers talking about communism and video games and stuff. But here it goes.
Avowed. And it just reminded me of Veilguard and how compromised and just intentionally grotesque it was. And of course, as gay as possible.
Hey, you haven't returned any... You are gay!
It hits every mandatory checklist item for woke games. Pronouns. A Pixar-like bubbly art style. An MCU superhero slop powers that don't belong anywhere.
Look, if you're pissed off about this, I understand. I don't want woke Twitter language. I don't want, this goofy politics shit in my video games. I want to travel to a magical medieval world and just swing a sword at people. I don't want to be I don't want this like weird leftist liberal morality in all these games. You got like wizards talking about pronouns or whatever. It's annoying. It's annoying. Sorry, but it's annoying. But you know, we've been saying this for a decade now, and games have only getting more woke. So it's just a trend that's going to continue.
We're near a fantasy game. Avowed has already been heavily delayed, and directors have changed mid-project. And of course, numerous developmental issues have happened behind the scenes, which really seems to indicate this game is dog shit. The gameplay favors simplistic action mechanics to appeal to a larger audience and a streamlined classless build system. But we have seen time and time again that going against your own RPG enthusiast audience is a good way to kill your studio. And of course, capping your console ports to 30 frames in 2024 and making the default player character non-binary is just the final nail in the coffin. So let's have a look at this train wreck. Firstly, the female NPCs in Avowed are built like linebackers.
Oh, of course. It's the same stuff. This is really nothing new. I mean, if you've been around the internet for a while, you've heard all the standard like gamer complaints and shit like that. Personally, I don't really game that much anymore. Maybe I'm not the best person to talk about this kind of shit. I never really got into like fantasy games. Last one of these I really played was probably Oblivion, and that was Skyrim, and that was over a decade ago. So I don't know. I mean, but yeah, I mean, you could make some things just like, it seems like a lot of these studios, a lot of these developers are just like, they're against like they're like anti-male gamer. They hate the male gaze. They hate all these, tropes and all this shit. I mean, Anita Sarkeesian, we've been doing this shit for a decade. With all this stuff's going on, with all this goofy game dev shit, but apparently, yeah, we don't need to watch any more of this. Standard gamer complaints, standard angry white male gamer. I know, but yeah, this is something else from the Steam community. Bets on whether Obsidian will fall and close studio or not. As for me, yes, they will fall. It's worth noting, I guess it happened to the best flop of all time, Concord. It's worth noting that they launched the studio with a flop. Also, Gollum took out the development arm of Daedalic. Other studios that have survived some incredible flops, Babylon's Fall comes to mind. It's Microsoft, and they have something called Game Pass. There's no way they will fail so badly they will close the studio. People who fall for either of the baits count as a win for them. No, I think OW2 is their planned moneymaker this year. Avowed and the team behind it are DEI sacrifices. I don't think they can fail because they also have Outer Worlds 2 coming out, and that's the one folks want to play. You really think so? Because it seems they never learned by their mistakes. I'm still holding out hope the game is actually good, but considered what happened to Tango Games, even a blowout success doesn't mean they're safe. So I kind of looked more into this about game studios closing and whatnot. And there was a lot of closures last year around this time. And a lot of studios shut down, and like Little Red Dog Games, Deviation Games, and Smilegate Barcelona, other studios have announced plans to shut down games or discontinue development on specific titles. Little Red Dog Games shut down in January 2024. PlayStation Studios London Studio shut down in February 2024. Deviation Games shut down in March 2024. And here it goes. X-Defiant. Ubisoft discontinued development of this game in 2025. EA Origin's going away. EA discontinued Origin in April 2025, which is 2 months from now. And players must now use EA app to play EA games. So, damn you, EA. They've been evil for so long. Studios may shut down due to a saturated market with more titles competing for the same audience, low player counts, the closure of the company behind the game to make way for newer entries in the series. So, yeah, a lot of the stuff's been going on. In Dreams establishes new internal studio, shutters 2 others. New studio Compass to be led by industry veteran Callum Godfrey following the closure of In Dream Studio Orbital and In Dream Studio. Godfall developer Counterplay has reportedly shut down. Hothead Games shuts down. What game did they make? Its CEO and President Ian Wilkinson shared news on LinkedIn last Friday, revealing that the studio shut down on December 13th after filing for bankruptcy. We had amazing playable for a AAA property and hope to secure a contract to develop both mobile and console PC versions of this game with different publishers, wrote Wilkinson. Unfortunately, it took far longer than expected to secure contracts for the versions of these games. So, yeah. Ooh, baby. A Marvel Rivals U.S. support studio hit with games. So this is all over the place. And this is from 6 months ago on Reddit. No need to explain how we've lost so many game studios over the last few years. My question is, why do these studios have to be completely shut down, laying off everybody, instead of just being sold to other buyers or made into its own independent studio? Buying a studio meant spending millions of dollars on talent acquisition and spending many more millions on a strong portfolio of games to stand out. Then these game studios got bought, presumably because publishers saw value in adding into their catalog. Now we see these companies want to divest those studios. Why does it necessitate shutting down the studio completely? It seems like an enormous loss for the publisher and a waste of national or even global resources and leaving talented developers without a job. My suspicion is maybe completely wrong, is to keep the IPs under their control and keep making money from games that were already released via digital sales. So perhaps that's the reason. But yeah, here's a bunch of game industry layoffs that's been going on. February 19th, Night Studio, Netflix Studio. 18th of February, NetEasy Games, Marvel Rivals, Toast Interactive. We just talked about Marvel Rivals Studio getting going through layoffs. February 17th, Soul Assembly, 1010 Games, Liquid Swords. 13th February, Embracer Group. 12th of February, Crytek, Sumo Digital, BioWare, Huge, Free Jam, Bulkhead, all that shit, just all going down, baby. Why has EA been shutting down smaller game development studios? This is from a few months ago, but it says Electronic Arts has been shutting down smaller game development studios primarily due to strategic business decisions aimed at streamlining operations, focusing on larger, more profitable franchises. Here are some key reasons for these closures. Focus on core franchises. EA has been prioritizing, let's just read the fucking main cost-cutting measures, market trends. The gaming industry has shifted towards larger live service games. Oh yeah, that sucks. I remember the what was that? The Suicide Squad game. That was a live service game. People hated it for multiple reasons. But yeah, integration of teams. So EA has been known to consolidate teams and resources, bringing smaller studios under the umbrella of large ones to foster collaboration and efficiency. This leads to the closure of game studios that are deemed redundant. Changing consumer preferences. As a player preferences evolve, EA may decide to pivot away from certain types of games or genres that smaller studios are focused on, leading to their closure. Oh, baby. Why does Electronic Arts buy game studios only to close them later? Developer worked hard, released great games. Games get extremely high ratings. EA shows interest because of the great games the developer made, offers a deal to buy them off. Deal closed. EA now owns developer. EA starts forcing their business decisions into the developing games, microtransactions, DLC preparation, the most evil of them all, always online features for single-player game modes. EA also sets unrealistic deadlines to push developer to produce games on time. Under immense pressure, developer releases subpar games with unwanted features, bugs, and glitches. New games get subpar ratings, repeat step 5 through 8. Through this business charts, EA decides the developer is no longer profitable for them. Let's just close them down. So yeah, the multiple factors affecting games. We say wokeness is one factor. A lot of gamers are mad about that. They have been mad about that for a while, but you can't discount like big conglomerates like EA fucking everything up. But 2 weeks into 2025, 3 studios are already closing down. Studios closing down include Toadman Interactive, which developed titles such as third-person shooter Immortal Unchained and hero defense game Bloodsports TV. The game also offered support on games including The Lord of the Rings Online and MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries. Speaking on Toadman's closure, parent company Enad Global wrote, the decision does not come lightly and follows several initiatives to turn the subsidiary profitable, including the cost-saving measures executed last year. Ongoing work for hire contracts with Daybreak and Cold Iron will be protected in this process. This means that a complete closure of activities will be optimized to fulfill the contract's deliverables. So a lot of corporate bullshit speak in there. Kind of annoying. But yeah, other Robocraft developer Free Jam has closed its doors as it closed to Tech Raptor. By Tech Raptor. Oh, baby. Oh, this is not good. Not good. But yeah, Ubisoft announces studio closure and layoff. It's happening all over the place. But
Ubisoft is shutting down its Leamington, UK studio and reducing staff at 3 other locations as part of a broader cost-cutting initiative. The Leamington team, which had previously contributed to projects like Call of Duty Infinite Warfare under Activision, joined Ubisoft to work on titles such as Far Cry 5 and Tom Clancy's The Division. While Ubisoft remains one of the most prominent names in AAA game development, it has faced mounting challenges in recent years. Following the release of Star Wars Outlaws, the company's stock took a hit, largely attributed to the game's lower than expected sales. Meanwhile, the long-delayed Assassin's Creed Shadows has added pressure for Ubisoft to deliver high-performing titles. These struggles now extend to a fresh wave of layoffs across the company. In a statement to Eurogamer, Ubisoft confirmed the closure of its Leamington studio alongside staff reductions at Ubisoft Dusseldorf, Ubisoft Stockholm, and Ubisoft Reflections. In total, 185 employees will be affected. In its statement, Ubisoft explained these measures are part of its ongoing efforts to prioritize projects and reduce costs. This may not be the final step in Ubisoft's financial restructuring. A recent report suggests that Ubisoft and Tencent are exploring a potential split of the company, rather than taking it private.
Yeah, that Assassin's Creed Shadows game, that got a lot of controversy on the Black Samurai in it. A lot of people were pissed off. It's not historically accurate, not historically accurate. You know, one thing I'll say, it's just like, we try to get away from, like, you know, the audience's tastes change. I think there's like this old kind of gamer, mostly like a white kind of gamer. Not that I want to sound like woke or something like that, but like the traditional gamer, like the white barbarian guy with a sword, you know, that kind of thing. It seems to be like they're trying to move away from it. They have more characters of color, more female characters, queer characters and whatnot. More storylines derived around that kind of thing. I think it can be a good thing for more non-traditional games to come out, but if anything, these layoffs show that this stuff just isn't selling that well. You know, it's been years of this, and, you know, with Concord and a few other games, you know, more kind of woke stuff going into the games, and there's some stuff that would just, like, what was that game called? Forspoken? That had really, really bad writing in it, like Joss Whedon-esque dialogue, and people are just kind of sick of that shit. It's an interesting concept, you know, kind of a new thing going forward. I want to see, like, original kind of newer ideas, you know, instead of just the same dungeon crawlers over and over again. But, you know, maybe traditional ways work the best. Maybe there's something to be said about the old school kind of games and stuff like that, you know. I mean, I just don't want to play Skyrim clones forever, but at the same time, it's like, you know, if these newer games kind of miss the mark, then what's the point of all this? But, yeah, 3 game studios are closing their doors, including the developer of Godfall. I think we talked about this already. Yeah, Lord of the Rings Online. Yeah, we talked about that. 21 game studios that shut down in 2024. Little Red Dog. We talked about this. Smilegate, Possibility Space. Baby. Paladin Studios. Studio had 55 employees, but had 45 employees having the closure. Paladin Studios founded in 2005. Studios management blamed the closure and their inability to land enough work to cover our burn rate. The studio will continue to support its games. Bethesda Studios, in addition, surprised many. Xbox announced the closure of 4 Bethesda studios, including Tango Gameworks. The studio had multiple award-winning game Hi-Fi Rush, Arcane Austin, Alpha Dog, and Roundhouse Games are also impacted. Xbox Game Studios head Matt Booty said the decision was due to reprioritization of titles and resources. Later in August, Tango Gameworks was revived through the studio's acquisition of Krafton, deal hailed by Hi-Fi Rush fans. So yeah, Timber Games, Galvanic Games, Piranha Bytes, all that stuff. You know, success can't save your favorite game studios anymore. This is written back in May 2024, but this week Microsoft and Bethesda would announce that they would be closing down multiple games development studios under their umbrella. Founded in 2020 by Shinji Mikami, the studio was large enough for horror games like Evil Within until last year. Part of the Shadow Drop release, cool rhythmic action title Hi-Fi Rush garnered critical acclaim from all sides. Multiple awards and nominations recently. Reported to the PlayStation 5, Xbox Vice President Aaron Greenberg even said the game was a breakout hit in all key measures and expectations. Moreover, they did what critics and fans alike beg studios to do, make something wildly different outside their comfort zones. So yeah, I think there is a demand for these kind of games, but it's like, what's the incentive for these studios to make new games if they don't sell and these studios get shut down? That's the thing. You want non-traditional games, but you don't want non-traditional games, but you want to step outside your comfort zone, but you don't really. But it's like, there's not really, it doesn't seem like there's much money to be made because these studios are getting away from traditional kinds of games, but the new stuff isn't really working either. It's a big mess. Hi-Fi Rush was by Microsoft Studios, only making exactly the kind of game Redmond Giant has been convincing their audience to stick with Game Pass for, which sets unclear goals and expectations from the get-go. But exactly constitutes success on Game Pass. Hi-Fi Rush topped with a whopping 3 million players last year, but that clearly was not enough for higher-ups. Lack of transparency with the general consumer and how games are evaluated internally is understandable, but it seems that not even Tango was aware of the metrics the game seemingly missed. Despite having worked on a Japanese game studio myself, it does not take much to experience, understand the creative job performed better when there's greater incentive beyond decidedly unclear goals at the end. No one is working on a video game in hopes that they can get to the finish line of release so that they can continue to bite their nails over whether a nearly 90 Metacritic game will result in a studio closure down the line as corporate, as Booty puts in the email, looks across the business to identify the opportunities that are best positioned for success. More of that fucking corporate speak. But yeah, we already talked about that. We already talked about other woke disasters here, but yeah, wow, I talked about this for quite a while. But yeah, gamers are pissed about it, studios are pissed about it. It's a big mess. Both woke people and anti-woke people seem to be upset by this. But yeah, what do you think of all this? Let me know your thoughts down below. We talked about Avowed a little bit, other game studios closing. It's just it doesn't look good for the games industry, and it's really a shame. It's just kind of collapsing under the weight of its own hubris. A lot of it, yeah, wokeness plays a factor. I know I don't want to sound like some white male gamer here, but some people just don't like that kind of shit. But I don't think it plays that big a factor. I think a lot of it's corporate greed. A lot of the Game Pass is an issue. Big studios like EA stepping in, the Microsoft bigwigs not being happy with successful titles like Hi-Fi Rush, all these weird metrics and goals they try to hit. There seems like a lack of accountability, a lack of communication. No one really knows what the fuck is going on. It's kind of ridiculous. But I'm going to leave it there. Thank you all for watching. Hit like, comment, subscribe. You can visit my Cash App right there. And, yep. Hope you guys have a good weekend. It is Saturday. It's cold as shit over here. Hopefully it's warm where you are. But, yeah, take it easy, and I will talk to you guys later.
Ryan Little.